All right, good afternoon, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Mike Serra. I'm the Executive Director of the League of Municipalities, and I'll thank you all for joining us for this lunch and learn on the new public
I
notices
can't
law.
hear him.
I'm sorry, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? I'm sorry,
You're loud and clear on my end. You
We
can go.
we can hear
okay,
you. I can
okay,
hear you.
okay, thank you. So, again, thank you for joining us. We are recording this session and we will be posting it on the league website for later review. I want to be cognizant of the fact I mentioned just a moment ago that over 600 people registered for this. I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that a significant portion of our state got hit pretty hard last night. Um, kind of north of where we are in Trenton, North Jersey, going into New York, and our thoughts are with those communities at this moment. And I realize a lot of the folks who probably registered for that are probably unable to participate here today because they're dealing with obviously more important matters. But we will have it posted on our website for their later review. So with that, again, Mike Serra at the League. We're here today to provide you a general overview of the new public notices law. The discussion is going to be led by the League's legislative analyst, Erin Needler, and our Deputy Executive Director, Lori Buckaloo. We also have Paul Penna, our Director of Government Affairs, on the call as well as uh, our new legislative counsel, Sadea Durant Brown, who is on the call as well. A few housekeeping rules. Again, this is being recorded, so please be cognizant of that as well. We will make the PowerPoint available online as well afterwards. If you have a question, please put it in the chat box. That's going to be very important because what we want to do is develop an FAQ on this. And I think the questions that we hear today are probably a good place to start. We will do our best to answer your questions. It may not be that we can answer, particularly if it's a very particular question. And if it's a unique circumstance type though to your community, you might want to email us instead and try to keep it to general questions. But again, we'll do our best. And if we can't answer it, we'll follow up with you. I think it's important to realize, with the new law, as this legislation was going through, there were some who were opposing it, who were kind of trying to stir up some doubts about it and uncertainty about it. And obviously there are going to be, with any time you have a new law, there are going to be questions and implementation issues that comes with the territory. This law was necessary. In my humble opinion, it was long overdue to modernize this act. It may not be a perfect law, but it probably is a step in the right direction, and cognizant of the fact that a number of the print editions in the state of New Jersey no longer publish, and it was necessary. So, with that, again, put your questions into the chat. We'll do our best to get to them today. If we can't get to them today, we will follow up with you as well. So with that, I'm going to pass the baton to Erin Needler, who's going to start our conversation. So Erin, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. In the interest of time, we'll be cognizant. It will be a brief overview of the changes, where we were and where we're going. And as Mike said, you may have specific issues or specific circumstances that you want some clarity on, and we'll be happy to answer those, but it might not be in this genre. We might need to have offline conversations on that. So with that being said, we will start it off. As we all know, that NJSA 35 outlines the requirements for public notice dissemination. This would vary from anything from your governing body schedule, meeting schedules, to zoning, land use, public bidding, tax sale notices, and such as. Title 35 provides the requirements for the type of newspaper, and we put that in quotes because, as we know, newspapers are not the same as they were before and what we're all used to. So that has changed. It also outlines the content of what needs to be in those notices and the verification or affidavit of publication for those notices. Next slide, please. Sorry, Mike's running the slides because mine was not working. Um, so at the end of 2024, Governor Murphy signed into law a temporary fix for those papers who are no longer doing print editions, to outline whether or not you could do print or online public notices. It included its PL 2024, Chapter 106. It includes all public notices, bids, and any legal notices that are required statutorily. Um, it would limit the it would create the existing statutory rates, so they couldn't charge you anymore, and that expired on March 31st of 2025. So, next slide. So in that expiration, Acting Governor Way signed on February 28th, 2025, Public Law 2025, Chapter 22, which extended that through June 30th, but it also required some reporting requirements for newspapers. Next slide. And oh, back one more. Thank you. So that required newspapers to submit reports to the governor and to the OLS within 30 days of enactment. And it basically required them to give data, to provide data on paid subscriptions, on digital subscriptions, unpaid digital and print. How many viewers did they have on their web pages, and also the amounts that were being billed for print and electronic publications for public advertisements, from the time frame of 2020 to 2024. Next slide. So then we came into long-term solutions. We knew that that law had expired, and we needed, some remedy for how we were going to move forward, and that came through Public Law 2025, Chapter 72, which requires some items from the Secretary of State by March 1st of 2026. The Secretary of State will create a web page for hyperlinks to each public entity and to their legal notification. So it'll be basically a clearinghouse for people to go to say, oh, I need to go to my school board page. I need to go to my MUA. I need to go to my, municipality and find out where their legal notices are housed. It must be accessible, free of charge, and the hyperlink must be visible to people. So it's not like you have to go on a web page and search for it. So it needs to be prominent so that people can go on and see it right away. And then those hyperlinks will be posted for other people so that they can see, they can go to their own local pages. Next slide. So the other thing is for time requirements and archives, you're required to display the legal notice on your webpage at least 1 week or as required by law. So some laws require specific time frames, such as like solid waste would be one of them, that you would have to, have that displayed for a specific period of time, and that they are required to be archived for 1 year. And that archive does not start until July 1st of 2026 and is not subject to the records retention schedule or the destruction by Doris. Next slide. Optional publications. If you are a municipality or an entity that wants to publish online and on your website, you're perfectly able to do that. That is a may, not a must. So you can certainly do that. Online publication is defined as a news publication in electronic format that contains news on matters of public concern and published news primarily in English at least once a week for 1 year continuously. So that would eliminate some of these, blog posters and things like that. So it defines it so people know what an entity is. And then also to qualify as a public publication for municipal wise, it would have to average the circulation would be 4,000 monthly visits, county 50,000, state 350,000. So that would qualify what would be a publication for that purpose. Next slide. So from January 1st to December 31st, 2026, legal advertisements, the complete text of each notice will be obtained and viewed on a public entity's website. And that's sort of what we're already doing anyway. So it'd just be whatever you would publish normally in the newspaper, you would just make sure that verbiage is on your website, and that you would also provide the hyperlink to the Secretary of State's website, and must publish twice a month. Next slide. Public notices not deemed defective. So things that are outside of your control. I mean, I know this was a big issue and something that people were concerned about, that if there's things that are outside of your control that you've given the notice, you've published it, or you've put it on your website and something happens. There's an error in the format, there is an outage because of outside of your control. Like Mike said, there's, things, we have people who had flooding issues, or there's, and maybe there's an outage somewhere. Those things would not be within your control. So that does not deem the public notice defective. So rather than go through all of that cyber attack, cybersecurity incident, those types of things. But like I said, we'll have this available for everybody to read through. Next slide. After March 1st, 2026, not a public entity, but corporation, individual, or other entity required to publish or advertise legal notice must do on an online publication. Select online news publications are based on your geographic area. So obviously, if you're in South Jersey, you're not going to put your legal notices in a publication in North Jersey. So I think that goes without saying, but but I guess it needed to be said. Also, rates are established by Title 35. They're gonna stay the same, and then you must publish within 24 hours of receipt. Next slide. So online requirements for news publications. So basically, these are outlining what it needs to be. Obviously, English is the primary language. It needs to be recognizable and understandable for people to access. It needs to be archived for a year. It must be displayed for a week. You should be able to access the information. So if most people who are looking for information on their local government, they're going to the webpage. They're going to their local government website. They want to make sure that they can find that information and that it's accessible and visible for people to understand and access. And that basically that's the gist of that. Next slide. Oh, okay. So we went through most of the slideshow. I think again, I think it's sort of a work in progress. I know that we hope here at the League that the Secretary of State's office will have some more definitive instructions and requests for local governments on how they're to post and when they're to post and what what they're requiring on their website so that we're linking everything together. But again, it's all about transparency. I think, as long as we're transparent and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and making sure that the public has the information they need, I think it's going to be it'll be all right. But and that doesn't negate the old bulletin board and posting at your local library. All of those things still come into play as well. We know not everyone is internet friendly and using the internet, but there's other ways to get that information out to your public. And ultimately, your own population. You know how they're getting their information and accessing it. So most importantly is to be transparent and make sure that that information is getting out to the public as efficiently and effectively as possible. So with that, if there's any questions.
Erin, before we jump to questions, I just want to highlight a couple of points, if I may.
Oh, sure, of course.
Sure. So, as a reminder, Governor Murphy signed Public Law 2025, Chapter 72 on June 30th. And all the new provisions of that law start on March 1st, 2026. So whenever you're required by law, by an order, or by rule of court to do a public notice, you have to publish that notice on your municipal website or on your public entity's website. And that notice is going to have to be on your website. It's going to have to be accessible, available, free to public charge, and without subscription. And it needs to be conspicuously placed on your homepage. So you're going to have something on your homepage like we do with Oprah. Like, here's how to get to Oprah requests. You're going to have to do the same things for public notices. You are going to have to do a notice, as Erin said, twice a week from January 1 to December 31 in 2026. It's the same notice. All you have to do is say, the Borough of Point Pleasant public notices are available. Here's the link. And when the Secretary of State has their link available, here's this link to the Secretary of State's page. That's all that public notice has to be. It's twice a month for 12 months. And then after that, it's done. And I would suggest in your organization, whoever is responsible for doing your annual notice, or your notice official newspapers, be the one to be responsible to publish that notice. That way it makes it easy for your organization. Not each individual department's going to have to do that notice. Just one notice from all the municipalities.
Right.
And then there's nothing in the law that precludes you from going above and beyond. Like currently, right now, we all know we have to publish a notice in the newspaper, but nothing prevents you from putting it on your municipal bulletin board, putting it out as a news alert. Or some towns are very fortunate to still have weekly newspapers. If you want to publish in your weekly newspaper, you can continue to do that. Nothing precludes you from doing it. It's just took the requirement and said you have to put it on your municipal website. And we know there's some confusion surrounding the notices that applicants are required to publish for land use requirements. We're looking into that, and we'll be doing a subsequent FAQ, and that will be one of the questions we answer. So I just wanted to give that, summary there and just remind folks that it's a big change, but it's an easy big change that we can make. So with that said, I would open it up to comments, questions, or concerns.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Lori. And let me just point out that both Erin and Lori are, in addition to their responsibilities here at the league, are both registered municipal clerks, and have been in the field. So they they know the lay of the land about as well as anybody. Now I dropped this in to the chat box. It looks like some of you have had chat disabled. I haven't encountered this with Zoom before, but we have 400 right now. We have 400 and I think the high it's 470 at one point. folks, and it's disabled it for some of you. I see some of you been able to drop questions in. It's a little awkward here on my side, so I'm gonna kind of go through it. At the end, we'll open it up. So if you haven't had a chance, if you haven't been able to get a question in, we'll unmute uh, and you can ask us verbally, and we'll try to we'll try to track it as well. So the first question I got here is, what is the actual email and state's homepage to send our hyperlinks? I mean, ultimately, it's going to be the Department of State's website, but I don't know if we have that information yet. Lori, Aaron, can you take
So
that?
the Secretary of State has until March 1st to establish that page. So once that's established, when we have the information, we will certainly send it out, not only through our normal means, but through the Municipal Clerks Association as well. But the Secretary of State has until March 1st to develop that page.
Yep.
And just so you know, that page is not only going to have municipalities, it's going to have boards of education, counties, authorities, fire districts, special districts, anyone required to do public notices. So it's going to be a comprehensive list.
All right. The next question, well, looks like I think you answered this, but just so everyone knows, the question was, one needs to be published twice a month exactly, the advertisement, question mark. The person responded with thank you, so I believe they were satisfied with the answer that you gave. But could you just, in case someone came in late, could you clarify that point, please?
Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear. I thought Lori, okay. So it would be that just the publication of where to find public legal notices on your website.
The next question was, how long / retention the public notices will be available on the state's website? I know that towns have 1 year to keep on our website. So for the state, what is the retention?
That's a good question.
I think that's one we'll research and get back to folks on.
Yeah, I think we'll circle back on that one.
Regarding corporation, individual, other entity notices, does the municipality need to publish a notice on the town website as well? If so, how does the municipality receive it? And I believe the answer is no, but I'll defer to you.
They do not. The law doesn't require that. The law requires that private entities, individuals, and corporations will have to use an online publication for their notice requirements.
Is there a preview or samples of what the page should look like?
There is not at this point in time, but that's something we can include with future FAQs.
Right.
For best.
Comment and questions. So until the Secretary of State makes the website, we cannot start the transition from sending to the paper to just hosting on our website, right?
No, that's incorrect. The law provides an out that from, that January 1st date, you can still meet the requirements by just including the hyperlink to your public notice page. And then once the Secretary of State has that link available, then you add it to subsequent notices. But the law is very clear, and it actually says that if the Secretary of State's page is not available at the time that the requirements start, you can begin anyhow and the transition starts.
All right, the next question, if Marie Canonis is still on, I think we answered this, so I just want to make sure you got the answer. Could you kindly review the requirement to publish twice a month? What needs to be published? The link to the website. I believe that was the advertisement, right? And yes, we're good. And she recommends that we include in the FAQ the requirements for liquor licenses. Duly noted. Just working down this list here. What is the violation if we do not comply? Not intentionally, but if we're late in posting or submitting the hyperlink. Unaddressed?
Yeah, we'd have to look that up. I didn't see anything in the law, the legislation, but we can get back to them on that.
Right. Let's see. Can we, let's see, Chatham Township, can we see again the slide about the twice a month publication from, 1/1/26 to 12/31/26? Do you still need to see that slide, or did we answer that question? Got the answer. Okay, thank you.
And Mike, we'll be sharing the slide deck afterwards as well.
That's correct. This presentation will be available. Jennifer Conway just makes a comment that Winslow Township has put notices on our homepage, and I think it will work. WinslowTownship.com. Going on, Shannon, let's see. Where are we publishing the notice from 1/1 to 12/31 on our website? Can we have it continuously posted for the whole year rather than 2 times per month? How do we proceed for now?
Well, so for now, the existing law we're all under continues. Then January 1, that notice has to be in a newspaper that you're currently using. And the law is very specific that it has to be twice a month. The law is very clear about that. But from now until March 31st, you continue to use the process we were using under the existing temporary solution that they provided.
And some of the questions I think we've answered, so I'm kind of jumping ahead. Brian Turner, is there guidance on affidavits of publication when required? Good question.
At this point, there's no guidance. We've asked for it. We will continue to keep you posted on that.
The let's see. Someone asked if you can go over the language of the public notice that needs to be posted twice a month. We've kind of hit this a couple of times, so I think we've kind of covered that, and I think it's in the slide as well. All right. That seems to be the question of the day. That generated a lot of questions. Okay, does accessible mean with easy access to notices, or does it mean in terms of ADA compliance, i.e. text size, format, etc.? And a good point, because the term is being used interchangeably.
Yeah, I think it's just readily available to the public. They can access it without without it a lot of rigmarole. It's on their website. It's on the webpage that you can point to it.
Okay, so let's see. Kay Cosgrove, are you suggesting the notice, or to be clear, are you suggesting the notice of legal notice publication could be adopted through resolution at my reorg meeting in place of the resolution adopting the official newspapers?
That's an interesting question because the new law doesn't take effect until March 1st. We'll have to look into that and get back to you on that, provide clarity.
All right, so are these website publications on our websites in addition to the mandatory publications in print newspapers, or do they completely replace them? As of March 1st, right? They replace them, right? And how do we certify our municipalities' website minimum requirements? Has there been guidance on that?
There's been no guidance, and I'm not really certain I understand the question.
Same.
Okay, well, if who asked that question, if you want to come back, maybe later, and if you want to be more specific on it. Um, well, here it is. We need 5K and 50% IP. How do we certify we hit those numbers?
Oh, that requirement's only for the online newspaper publications, not for the municipal website. So that those requirements that Erin noted are for the online, to meet the qualifications of an online newspaper. It does not apply to a public entity's website.
All right, so Marilyn asked two questions. If the Secretary of State hasn't created the hyperlink until March 1st, are we just required to publish twice a month our entity's hyperlink?
Yes,
And for addenda, are we just able to publish it on the entity's website? Or would that be required to be published in an official newspaper as well?
are they referring to a public contracts addendum? Or are they referring to the adding in the Secretary of State's hyperlink?
Marilyn, if you want to, okay, I think you did. Yes, goods and service contracts.
So that those would have to be put on your municipal website because that's considered a public notice. And to meet the requirements of public notices now on your beginning March 1 will be your municipal website.
Okay, let's see.
Casey Michael. I really
Folks, you might want to keep yourself muted. You never know what might come out. Let's see. Please correct if I misunderstand. We are required to start publishing twice per month, starting January 26th, but the state has until March 1 to establish its website and link. How will this work?
Correct, because the notice from January 1 until the Secretary of State establishes that hyperlink would just have a notice with the link to the municipal or the public entity's legal notice page. So what will happen is you will do the notice twice a month. You'll have a link to the Borough of Point Pleasant's legal notice page. And then once the Secretary of State establishes that web page, Borough of Point Pleasant would have the public notice with the link to the Borough of Point Pleasant link and then end Secretary of State's hyperlink.
Okay. I think this is a related question. Until March 126, are requirements same as they've been? During interim, can we start publishing on our website? And if so, I assume we still need to publish in paper as well.
Correct. So what the law did is extended the current law that Governor Murphy signed that expired on June 28th. That now carries until March 126, but nothing precludes you from running both parallel if you so choose. But in order to meet the requirements of the law, you're going to have to do the notice under the current law, under Public Law 2024. Public Law 2025, Chapter 22.
This one is two comments, I think, from Karen Perry. 3 years retention for state agencies and 3 years retention for county and municipal. So I think that was probably in response to an earlier comment and question on retention schedules. Bear with me, folks. This is a little awkward. I don't know why Zoom did it this way. Isn't the state just keeping an ongoing hyperlink to the entity's website? They wouldn't be keeping our notices on their website, right? That's correct. The Department of State's responsibility Yeah, and your responsibility is to provide the link to the Department of State, and their responsibility is to have that link posted on their website. Will affidavits of publications be a thing of the past? I believe no. Right? Any further comment or just no? Before I move on.
No.
All right. Yes, the PowerPoint will be sent out. Did they address tax sale notices? We published four consecutive weeks in a newspaper.
They did not specifically address tax sales notices, but that is considered a public notice, so it would fall under the new requirements. So you would have to put it on your municipal website for consecutive weeks.
Okay, I'm going to give myself a break here and try to catch up. I see someone has raised their hand. So T. Garafa, if you want to ask your question, while I'll catch up in the chat box here.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
Great. So my question is just about specific timings of when we start posting our own individual notices, because I understand the January 1st date to start announcing two times a month where people will go to a page. But does that page have to then be populated as of January 1st with our own notices, or does that start to occur March 1st?
So March 1st, you would have to start having notices on that page. January 1 to March 1st, you're just publicizing that that's where your public notices will be starting on March 1st. But nothing precludes you from publishing before March 1st on that page. You can do so, but you would still have to do what you're currently doing for public notices under Public Law 2025, Chapter 22, which is provided to a newspaper.
And if we do start January 1st, then we do no longer need to send it to a newspaper as of January 1st?
No, from January 1st to March 1st, you will have to continue to send it to the newspaper like you're doing now. March 1st is when the light switch flips over, so to speak. And then it's on your public entities page.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. The next question, was there something about keeping track of traffic count to the public notices page?
That is the requirement for online newspapers for private entities, corporations, and public individuals. That is not something public entities will have to do.
All right. And folks, it's 12:40. We can go through 1 o'clock. If we don't get to your question, we will follow up with you. But I want to be respectful of everyone's time. The next question in the box was, what about ads for elections?
We will have to get clarity on that for you because some are generated from the county clerk, some are from the municipal clerk, depending on the election and such. And some are from the Secretary of State. We'll get clarification on that.
All right. I'll just again, I'll reinforce. We will get this recording will be posted on our website along with the PowerPoint, and there will be additional courses and trainings. I flipped to the on the screen the information on the league conference. You can rest assured this will be a topic at the league conference and probably in other sessions as well. I don't know the names, but Mayor's Conference Room has your hand up. So why don't we go to your question while I try to catch up in the chat box?
Hi, Mike. It's John Mitch from Woodbridge. Hope all is well.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just curious if you're going to do a session down at the league as things develop over the next couple of months.
We'll do. You can count on it.
Okay, thank you.
Erica, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi. If we have weekly newspapers here that we use, can I still use them? if I want to publish it in the newspaper? I'm like thoroughly confused. I have like, this is really,
So Erica, you're fortunate to still have weekly newspapers, and yes,
Yeah.
you can still publish, but you would have to put the notice on your municipal website as well.
that's not a problem. So can we create a page on our website, public notices, and then send that to the state as well?
Yes,
Okay, all right, okay. And one more question. So every year we do a resolution for all of our council meetings in one shot. I can still do that, right?
correct. Yeah, you could still do your annual meeting notice.
Gotcha. Okay. 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 That's, you guys scared me for a second.
Sorry.
No problem. It's not your fault.
That's not why we're doing it. We're sorry.
Okay. No. That's cool. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Bye.
The next question was, if the municipality is ready to make the change now, can we make the change immediately?
You can make the change immediately, but you still have to put a notice in the
Right.
newspaper. That obligation doesn't go away until March.
All right, so let's see. So if we scheduled a special meeting for next week, how does twice a month apply? Normally, we just need to advertise 48 hours in advance. I'm not sure how that applies. What exactly are we publishing twice a month? Just a link to the public notices page?
Yeah, so twice a month you're doing a legal notice that all it says is your town's name. Here's the link to your public notice page on your municipal website. And then when available, here's the link to the Secretary of State's page. That's the only notice you have to do twice a month. At the same time, any of your other routine notices you do, you're doing in addition to that notice from January to December.
All right, and this is just, I guess, a clarification type question. The person asked, so starting January 1, municipalities are posting a hyperlink in a physical paper and newspaper.
Correct.
Well, but not necessarily a print edition.
Correct. It would be as you're
Right.
currently doing your notices today.
Because to me, physical means you're touching it. It's a print, but it in lieu of a paper that no longer has a print edition, it can be digital, electronic, right? Let's see. Let's go back to the screen. Doherty.
Hi, actually, it's Lisa Doherty, Municipal Clerk at Winslow.
Lisa Doherty. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. That's
That's
my
okay.
own eyes.
That's okay. It looks like an I, but it's an L. So we had a question here at the township. Our website address, is that considered a hyperlink, or we have to do a hyperlink within our website address when sending it to the state?
So Lisa, all it is your web address. So let's say it's winslow.gov. So it'd be www.winslow.gov. And then you know how you have the slashes and it has some others. So it might be /public notices.
Okay.
It's basically when you go to that page and you go to the top of the web page and you could copy that address, that's the hyperlink.
Okay, so the website should include public notice section inside the website address. So just
Well,
like right now it's winslowtownship.com. Is that sufficient for the hyperlink?
You know, you're going to have to put exactly where, if I click on that, it'll take me right to the public notice page.
Okay, so it's okay if our public notice page is on our homepage and the website will take you straight there, the .com.
That should, we could get clarity for you on that.
Well, but I would think that if it was .com.gov/notices, that the link you would provide to the Secretary of State would be the notices page itself. But yeah, that's right for an FAQ and a best practices that we'll
Yes, sir.
follow up with.
Yeah, because what we were going to do was put our notices on our homepage, so there wouldn't be a /notices.
Gotcha. Okay. That could work, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Christine Gaddy, you have your hand up. Why don't you go next?
Hi, good afternoon. Just a quick question in regards to 48-hour notices. So for instance, if there's a special meeting and the committee would like to meet, if we simply put it on our website, this is obviously after March 2026, we put the notice on our website, they could theoretically meet 48 hours later. So there's no other requirement, because I know under the current statute, you have to meet the requirements of the paper and allow them time. Obviously, you have the lead time for them to publish and allow them the time of 48 hours. So the lead time was much longer. So now that 48 hours is really post on the website, and then they can meet 48 hours later. I just want to confirm that.
Yes,
Thank you.
Lori, unless I'm missing something else.
Nope.
Thank you.
All right, let me go back to the chat box. And I think this is related to what Karen Perry had asked before. I don't know if it was a response to, but just to clarify, these public notices will not follow the Doris record retention schedules? Question mark.
Correct.
Good question.
It's Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Karen.
How you doing, everybody? Thanks for letting me attend on this. I appreciate it. You know, we've always had public notices on the general and the state and the county municipal schedules. It's nothing new. It's always been there, and we treated it similar to like correspondence, 3 years and destroy through Artemis. So it's not anything radical. It's always been there. Unless we get directives otherwise, and I'm told to take it down off of it. I mean, I don't know, but it's sitting there. I'll have to talk to Jim Frashone too about this.
All right. Yeah, I will follow up with you on that too. I think that's
Great. Oh, I
yeah,
really
that's-
appreciate it, guys. That'd
that
be
could
great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could-
Lori, we'll get in a huddle.
Yes, I'll send you over the language. It's in section 2C.
Okay.
And the archive are no, the archive should not be subject to any records retention schedule adopted by the state records committee, nor the destruction of public records law.
Okay, here we go. All right, I'll talk to you offline then, Lori.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
S. Gallagher, you have your hand up.
How you doing? I'm Sean Gallagher, city clerk in Jersey City. How's everybody?
Very well. How are you?
Very good. I came a little late to the meeting, and I apologize on that. I just wanted to say that we already have a public notice tab on our website. I kind of saw this coming. Not that I'm not Nostradamus or anything like that, but I was a little concerned because we lost our local newspaper, the Jersey Journal, after 157 years of service. And, you know, we now publish in the Record and also a paper that is a biweekly paper, the El Specialito in our municipality. However, I still developed this link on our website, and it has all of our public notices, you know, all the ordinances, all the professional services from every council meeting on there. Would that serve as that requirement, and I can send that hyperlink to the state?
Yes, it should.
I appreciate it. And I know I missed this, but I'm hearing that I have to still advertise in the paper, I guess twice a month, the hyperlink where people can access the public notices, correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you so much.
Until March, yeah.
Thank you so much.
And all right, so right now no one has their hand up, so I'll go back to the box because I want to make sure everybody has a chance to get their. Again, if it's in the box and we haven't gotten to it, we will follow up and again we'll be doing a Q&A. The twice a month public notice with hyperlinks, can that be either online publication or in print?
Lori, I'm going to defer to you. I would assume that you would, you know, if you still do have print, to do it in print and online would be most beneficial. But, you know, I'll defer to Lori on the specifics of the legislation. If there's anything that is, I can't recall at this point, but we can certainly circle back on that one.
Shall provide, it says shall provide an advertisement in an online news publication that meets the requirements of this bill. So it'd be an online news publication.
Okay.
But again, nothing precludes you, someone earlier said they were fortunate to still have weeklies. Nothing precludes you from putting in the weekly too, but to meet the requirement of the law, you have to do it online newspaper.
Right.
All right, a lot of the new questions, and I'll thank you for, I guess, answering questions before, but I think we answered this one. The slide which referred to the 4,000 monthly visits, that's not referring to the municipal website. That's referring to for the third parties, right?
Correct.
Right. All right, moving on, and we again we'll go to one and crank out as many of these questions as we can. Let's see. Do we still have to do an affidavit of publication? We've answered that already as a yes, right? Never mind, this was answered. I love that. There we go. Means we're doing our job. I see Lisa has her hand up. So Lisa, while I work the chat box here for the next question, do you want to ask your question?
I'm sorry if I'm not understanding this. I just want to clarify. So from January 1 to December 31st, we have to publish in our official newspaper, if that's a print paper or an online newspaper. Can you clarify that?
Sure. So the law says it has to be in an online newspaper. So to
Okay.
meet the requirements of the law, that notice from January 1 to December 31st, that's twice a month, has to be in an online newspaper.
Okay.
But nothing prevents the town from going other avenues. But in order to meet the requirements of the law, it has to be in an online newspaper, but nothing prevents you from using your current system of putting out public notices.
Understand. Thank you.
All right, and just to clarify, after March 1st, are we still required to post in a newspaper twice a month?
Yes, that twice a month notice has to be from March 1 to December 31st. So that's the notice with the hyperlink. Your ordinary run-of-the-mill public notices just have to be published what you're currently doing now until March 1 on an online, what you're currently doing now, and then March 1, it has to be on your webpage. They're two different things. I think that's where some folks are getting confused.
Let's see. This might be the last one. No, there's another one. Just to clarify, no, wait, I'm sorry. That's, all right, I lost this one. But the question was about, as a process question about how to do the affidavit of publication. I don't know if we can answer that here, but maybe we can provide some guidance on it. But Lori?
Yeah, no, that's one of the ones we have to follow up on.
All right. Matt Cavallo, I see you have your hand up.
Hey, Mike, just one
Matt, how are you?
recommendation. Maybe in your FAQ, put this in a timeline so that they know from month to month of 2026 what they have to do.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's kind of what we did with the housing law, was you kind of provided everyone a calendar.
Right. All right.
Okay. And the last question is, well, I think this has been answered. After 2026, will we have to continue the twice a month notice in an online paper? Right? Well, at the end of calendar year 26, that doesn't have to be done anymore, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay. All right. I think, fingers crossed, I got to all the questions in the chat box. I don't know why Zoom did this to me, but I got more screens open right now than I know what to do with. But before we wrap up, is there anything does anyone have any other questions from the floor that maybe you weren't able to get in? All right, hearing none. So we got a lot in there. So once again, we will follow up. Everyone who registered for this will get an email in the next day or two with a link to the online recording a copy of the PowerPoint. Based on the questions that we received here, which have been saved, we will start developing an FAQ. We will be doing lead conference session, at least one session, probably multiple sessions. I'm sure the Clerks Association will be doing their own programming as well, and we'll probably collaborate with them as well. So if you haven't registered for the lead conference, obviously you have a good reason to go to, because if you didn't get your question answered here, you can get it answered there. Delegate registration and room block registration has opened up as of July 1. So hope to see you in Atlantic City. If you have any questions, our legislative team contact information is on the screen now and will be included in the PowerPoint. So with that, again, if you're in a community that was affected by the storms last night, all the best. I know there was some loss of life in some communities, so I know a lot of good people doing a lot of hard work right now. So all our best prayers and thoughts to you. And if you need anything from us, please reach out to the league. And to you all, best for the rest of the day, and have a nice summer. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.